Hello there.
Hello.
I'm Keith, and this is my dad, Kerwin. Welcome to Fathers of the Galaxy.
All right. We are going to talk about Cassian Andor. Now, of course, season one has ended, all 12 episodes. We're looking forward to season two in
Oh, by the
2020.
way, this does not include season two. So if you're watching this in the future and it's 2024 and
Okay.
Andor has already been released, go check out our reviews. And if you're watching it now or anytime, check out our season one reviews as well, because we reviewed every episode.
That's very funny. That's pretty good. All right. So, right
Well,
now,
it wasn't a joke.
okay. Well, right now, um, we're bringing back our character study series, right? So,
It's been a while.
it's been a while since we've discussed any characters. So, we thought we start with Cassian Andor, okay? Because now that we have season one of his show, we've got a lot of information about Cassian, from
We got a
his
lot more to
beginnings.
know.
Yes, from his beginnings to the ending. So let's go in and just talk about Cassian Andor. All right, let's start off. So we know he's from the planet Kenari,
Yep.
right?
And he was born by the name Kassa,
Yes.
kind of obscure. But eventually he's found by Maarva and Clem Andor, and he was on the Imperial ship that was left there, or not Imperial, but I guess it was a miner ship or something, and he was destroying it because they attacked his family. And then Maarva and Clem kind of found him, and acceptable child abduction brought him with them. So he eventually went by the name Cassian, and that's the Cassian we know today.
Right. So yes, you're right. So his the natives there, are very young people. We don't know what happened to the adults on the planet, but apparently, we assume that they perished because that's all that was left were the young people. Kassa was one of them, and then unfortunately, a few of their tribe were taken out, and Kassa was very angry, and yes, he took it out on that Imperial ship that crash landed on his planet and took out some of his people. But yes, you're right. So Clem and Maarva came. They put him to sleep because they felt they had to take him, because if they left him there, he would have not have survived. So that makes sense to me. All right.
Yeah.
So they take him back to the planet Ferrix. Yeah.
And that is where Andor's story begins. In the first season, at least. We might update this when season two comes out, but this is where we are right now.
Okay. So now Cassian lives on the planet Ferrix.
So his parents, Clem and Maarva, they live with him. Although sadly, Clem was.
Yes, right, yeah. So unfortunately, Clem
perished.
Yes, he lost his adopted father by the hands of the stormtroopers, the Empire, and we see that taking place in the episode. But Cassian lives a life of uncertainty, so
That's his entire life.
Well, right, yeah. So he finds himself always getting in a lot of trouble, right?
Sometimes for the worse.
Right. Sometimes, it seems like he's always owing someone money, like he's borrowing money, but he's never paying it back. So when we pick up the story, it's on Milano 1, and he's in this place and he's looking for his sister. She's not there. He leaves and he runs into trouble with the corporate security.
Milano 1 corp.
Yeah, corporate security for no particular reason, picking on him.
They just decided today was as good a day as any to just find some random man and steal credits. And Cassian said, "No, thank you."
That's right.
Bow!
Right.
And let's just say that dental bill is going to be pretty high.
Okay. And things happen. So those two corporate security guards lost their lives.
Never to be seen again.
Right. And Cassian returns back to Ferrix, and he wants to come up with an alibi. He has a friend named Braca. Did I get that right? Is it
Brasso?
Brasso. I'm sorry, Brasso.
Braca's the planet for the Bad Batch season 1.
You're right. That's exactly. You're right.
And it's also the brand of candy corn.
Okay. Yeah, Brox. Okay. All right. So yeah. So Brasso, tries to help him with an alibi. Okay. So Cassian runs into this person named Luthen Rail. Now, Luthen is
good old Luthen.
He's very mysterious. We don't know much about him even after the first season. There's still a lot to learn about Luthen, but Luthen knows a lot about Cassian, right? And Luthen comes to him and said, "Well, don't you want to get back at these people for real, the Empire?" And so he convinces Cassian to leave Ferrix, right, and go to the planet Aldani to orchestrate a heist. So he explains to him, okay, you're going to be working with a group of people, and you people are going to be responsible.
You're
going to be responsible because he's not there. Luther's not there, right? So, so he introduces Cassian, and he's calling himself Clem after his stepfather, adoptive father. Clem and is introduced to Vel, who is the leader of this group. And the plan is that they're going to infiltrate an Imperial security and steal credits.
Their entire payroll.
Of credits. The entire.
So here I am thinking payroll meant the literal list of people who worked there, so they could go track them down. But no, payroll meant the credits.
Right. So
that's the payment, not the payroll.
Exactly. So the entire payroll. Okay. So they have a plan. They put things together. They're learning to walk like stormtroopers because they have to. Not stormtroopers, they have to walk like troopers. They have to pretend that they are part of the Empire, right? So they have to have the look, the feel, know how to carry their weapons.
And they got themselves ready. They knew exactly how to act during the heist.
Right. And then the heist takes place, and it's not it's doesn't work out. Nothing ever works out the way it's supposed to, of course. But eventually, with some casualties, unfortunately, Cassian and Nemik Vel were able to get on a ship and take off. And Skeen, right? Yes, that's right, Skeen. Nemik, unfortunately, was severely injured. Yes, right. So they had to take him to a doctor immediately. Nemik did not make it. Nemik is a person who has a manifesto. He believes in the cause. He believes, this empire needs to be taken down, taken out. So he gave his manifesto to Cassian to keep. Cassian says, you know what? I don't want any more of this. I want to be out. I'm going to take my money.
He's like, I'm taking my credits. Oh, by the way, he shot Skeen because Skeen was going to lie.
Yeah.
Take all the credits for himself.
Right.
And give Cassian a little share to keep quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And Cassian wasn't having that.
No.
So he made sure Skeen didn't do that.
Skeen was not to be trusted. All right.
And I can't believe him.
Mm-hmm.
Thought he was in it for the good, and he wasn't.
All right, so Cassian takes his share, and he returns back to Ferrix.
And now he's rich, so he tries to convince Maarva and B2 to come with him so they can go have a life someplace. But Maarva refuses to leave because, Ferrix is her home. She's been living there for years and years. Everyone knows her by name. She's like the toast of the town.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to leave. And she can't leave either because soon after Cassian leaves to go back on another mission, she falls ill, and that doesn't end too well.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So sadly, she passes away on Ferrix.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Cassian is on the Miami beach of Niamos.
Yes.
And gets caught up in this rebel resistance, and the stormtroopers or beach shore troopers, they catch him thinking he's part of those insurgents, and they're like, yo, you're coming with me. And we saw a K2 security droid, and we all thought, oh boy, it's K2SO, we got him early. No, it wasn't him. So he is eventually sentenced to 6 years in prison on Narkina 5.
Right, for a crime he didn't commit.
Precisely. Mm-hmm. The Empire's basically just deciding they can pick anyone and anywhere that they like and just put him to jail for nothing. So, I don't know.
So he's on Narkina 5 in this prison facility, and it's run by Kino Lloyd.
His cell is run by Kino Lloyd.
Okay, his cell, right? His floor, run by Kino Lloyd, played by Andy Serkis.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And eventually, they uprise with the help of Cassian and Kino. Kino gets an Emmy-worthy speech and gets every prisoner there to rise up and escape. And they all jump into the ocean except Kino because he can't swim. But we hope he's alive. We really hope he's alive because, come on, he was the heart of the show. But eventually, Cassian also meets another prisoner named Melshi, who we remember from Rogue One. He was there before, and they escape together. Eventually, they get back to Niamos and split up. Melshi goes to spread the cause and presumably joins the Rebel Alliance. Cassian goes back to Ferrix because he found out that Maarva passed away and he's going to the funeral. And this is where things get interesting.
Yep.
I just said interesting. Interesting.
Yes. So his return to Ferrix, it is occupied by the Empire. The Empire is looking for him.
Oh, and they captured Bix.
Right. Bix Colleen, right. So a childhood friend who knows a lot about Cassian, and so she's been intimidated, and they're looking for information from her. She's not giving them any.
They interrogated her too.
Yeah, she's not giving them any information.
I remember Pack, they got him too.
Yes, Pack, yes, the storekeeper. Yes, unfortunately he was a casualty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's not dead. Is he?
Yes, yeah. Pack. Yes. Well, so Cassian returns, and he has to be very careful because I'm telling you, I mean, the Empire is everywhere on Ferrix. Mm-hmm. So he actually he knows Ferrix better than the Empire because he grew up there. He knows his home planet, right? And, so he was able to get inside. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's able to get inside
the person,
right? Through a tunnel, right? Freeze Bix, right?
And meanwhile, Maarva had a pre-recorded hollow message for them
during her funeral,
and she basically tells them to rise up, that they've been sleeping this whole time, and that the Empire has been working behind their backs to rise up and fight them, and they do.
And that's exactly what happened. The people of Ferrix, yes, the people of Ferrix exactly rise up, and they go toe to toe with the
Cyril
Empire.
Saves Dendra, by the way. Will they? Won't they?
Well, yeah.
We won't know until season 2.
Yeah, well, that's true. But Cassian did manage to get Bix and Pack's son and one of the daughters of Ferrix, get him on a plane,
and Brasso and
get him on a ship, right, and get him off of Ferrix. Meanwhile, Cassian stays behind because
he gotta go talk to Luthen.
Luthen
was there too.
Now Luthen Rail. Turns out that once Cassian decided that he was going to leave Aldhani and leave the mission, Luthen didn't know if he could trust Cassian, right? Mm-hmm. So he didn't know if Cassian was going to go back and tell people that they know each other, or he was going to spill the beans,
tell people all about the Aldhani raid. Or whatever.
So Luthen took the initiative, or he put a plan in place to have Cassian taken out, executed. All right.
I mean, if you don't know if you can trust somebody, ask them instead of hiring multiple different people to go after them.
Right. And then that's what happens. Cassian appears, Luthen is shocked, and Cassian wants to know, look, you can either, kill me.
You can bring me in warm, or you can bring me in cold. Basically.
Right, exactly. So
he gave him a Mandalorian agenda.
There you go. Right. So that's it.
2 options. You better check one, yes or no.
So then we know that in season 2, Luthen and Cassian are going to be working together, and this rebellion is going to grow. Okay. Now
we skip forward to about a year later.
About a year later, right?
And there's this comic book run of K2SO and Cassian. It's a one-shot comic, and this is the origin story of how they met. Mm-hmm. And we also are reviewing this episode soon, or have reviewed it, depends on when we release it. So go check that out.
Yes. So we'll talk about this one shot, this comic strip where Cassian is now a part of the Rebel Alliance, right? He has a high ranking position there, and he is his mission is to go by General Draven gives him this mission to go to a planet called Wakako, right? It's unknown planet.
It's such a weird name, Wakako. Wakako, Wakako, however y'all pronounce it.
Cassian was not expecting to see anything there.
Called it a nothing planet.
Yeah, he really didn't
think much of it.
Take the planet very seriously. He thought, his mission was to get some intelligence on the Imperials, go in and out, but of course that's never the case.
Of course not.
He goes with twin spies,
Curtis and Racemoore,
right? And then they get captured. They get captured by a K2 droid, which turns out to be K2SO, right?
So eventually they power him down.
Yep.
The droids, not droids, but the twins, they power him down, and they begin trying to erase his memory. And then he powers back on and tells them only a little bit of it's erased. So they finally get almost all of his memory erased. And Cassian asks, who you work for, gives him a couple of basic questions, and then K2 is under Cassian's command.
Exactly right. So Cassian is now the person who can give orders to K2SO. All right, so now Cassian realizes that the intelligence that he needs, that they were looking to get, is all stored in this K2SO droid. All right, so they need to get off planet. Cassian's ship is destroyed. They steal another ship, so K2SO and Cassian are off, leave the planet.
The twins just kind of walked off into the sunset, basically. They were like, we've done all we need to do, and then they kind of just, left.
Right, and now we pick up during Rogue One.
So this is a story that we've been most excited about. This is what we knew about before we had Andor seasons 1 or 2. So this is the original. This is when we first met Cassian. So Cassian is sent to Wabani to rescue Jyn Erso, and they head to Jeddah to find Saw Gerrera so he can testify to the Imperial Senate and keep them from finishing the Death Star. Of course, that doesn't work, but along the way they meet Chiru Imwe and Baze Malbus, who save them for a couple stormtroopers, and then they all get thrown in jail by Saw's rebels. And right next to them in the other cell is Bodhi Rook, just got interrogated by Borgullet. Whatever.
He used to work for the Imperial.
Yeah, Borgullet. That was my best song.
That was good. Impression. That was very good.
Or at least, when he was hooked up on all those tubes and the funny juice.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let's just move along. You got it.
He knows the location of Galen Erso, creator of Death Star plans. So they break out, but Saw is too unstable and too unwilling to go with them, and eventually perishes when the Death Star becomes fully operational and fires upon Jeddah City, which is completely leveled.
Yeah, so the Death Star apparently is organized and created and put together. This is the plans of Director Krennic, who made the decision to test the Death Star on the planet Jeddah. Unfortunately, Saw Gerrera was still there. That actually all of the Rogue One characters were on that planet, but everyone was able to get off. But Saw stayed behind, and eventually Jeddah was destroyed.
He could have gone with them, but he decided to go down with the ship. Never understood that, because if you have the option to be saved, don't be stupid.
Well, no, it's not about stupidity. It's about sacrifice.
I know. But if you can be saved and everyone else has been saved, don't be stupid.
Okay. All right. So now we move on.
So they eventually head to Iadu, which is where Galen Erso is.
Yes.
And Cassian's mission is to eliminate him. That's the mission he was given.
Right.
But he holds back. And unfortunately, the rebels do that for him because they attack the platform, which is destroyed. And Galen is mortally wounded. So they can't get the information they need. And he can't help them destroy the Death Star and get the plans.
Now, let's be clear. Galen Erso was the one who designed the Death Star, right?
And he put a flaw in it intentionally.
Right.
So that the rebels could destroy it. Because he figured out, really, that they were actually being evil. He thought he was working for the good, but he wasn't.
Yes, right. And his daughter, Jyn Erso, is trying to help the rebels. One, she was trying to help her dad. She wanted to save her dad, but it was too late. And now she actually began to blame Cassian because Cassian was given the order to take out her father, which he didn't do. But she realizes, okay, well, Cassian might not have told her everything, but
sure didn't.
Right. But they do return to the rebel base.
And Jyn tries to push for a final mission to get the plans. And of course, they deny it to her. Yes. But Cassian amasses a bunch of rebel troops, and they eventually head to Scarif.
That's right. They take it upon themselves.
So it's a huge fight between the shore troopers and the rebels. Meanwhile, all our Rogue One crew are up there. Cassian, Jyn, and K2 try to break in. Eventually, K2 ends up having to sacrifice himself so he can buy time for the rest of the rebels, and the rest of the team does the same. So it's just Cassian and Jyn. Unfortunately, Cassian is, he falls off the bridge as Krennic tries to shoot him down, leaving just Jyn. Psych! Cassian saves her just in time before Krennic can get his final shot in, and they successfully transfer the plans up to the Rebel Alliance.
Yes.
And their last moments are spent on Scarif right before the Death Star blast.
Yes, exactly. So it was Tarkin who gave the order to
Tarkin or Krennic, one of them.
Well, it wasn't Krennic because Krennic was already on Scarif, right? Well, before. All right, so Krennic is on Scarif with all of the other.
He's right there.
Right. Tarkin didn't care that Krennic was on the planet, right?
Tarkin was just shoot him already.
Right. You know,
he didn't like Krennic in the first place.
Right, exactly. So, so Krennic did all the work to put this Death Star together, but then Tarkin swooped in and took credit for it, and now he wants Krennic out the way. Like, oh, what a perfect opportunity. You may fire when ready.
Yeah, this is when it happened.
And then that's exactly what happened.
That's when Governor Tarkin was like,
Yeah.
Oh, he's right there. You may fire when ready.
That's right.
Get this man away from me.
And
just shoot him.
And that was the end of Scarif. All right.
Well, not the end of Scarif, just that area of Scarif.
Okay, yeah,
because it came back in a Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation.
Good point. Okay, that's a very good point.
I'm pretty sure that's canon.
Yeah, well, okay. You're right.
Sure.
Right. So the target was aimed at a particular spot.
Because Jedha wasn't entirely destroyed, just Jedha City.
I hear exactly what you're saying. So I'm good with that. So that is.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. So that is Cassian's story. All right. And of course, there's so much in between that we don't know that we expect season 2 is going to fill in, because season 2 is going to take place 1 year after season 1, right up until Rogue One, right?
So you figure they must incorporate that story about Wekiko and K2.
We hope so.
Or maybe it'll have already happened. Either way, we just don't know where this comic really fits into the timeline.
We don't.
Since season 2's details are pretty blurry right now. So once we get more, we can properly fit that in and basically complete the timeline between the first season of Andor and Rogue One.
Exactly. And we have time to wait. Season 2 will not drop until, I guess stream until maybe fall of 2024. So.
Oh, by the way, Dad.
Yes.
I had a question. Do you ever want to do like a canon timeline of Star Wars?
That's a lot of research.
Movies and television shows.
I don't know. We'll talk about
that's much easier because there are thousands of books and and a lot of them are legends, so we can't do everything.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that.
Maybe we could do an expanded timeline. Star Wars Explained did that. Maybe they can help us.
Okay, we'll find out. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But as of right now, that is our character study
episode.
Exactly, our character study.
We're done.
Cassian Andor.
You can click off now.
All right.
No, I'm kidding. Please don't.
Where can people find us, Keith?
So you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Good Pods, Radio Public, Amazon Music, Audible, or wherever you get your podcasts. Our socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fatherson Galaxy. Website is fathersongalaxy.com. And our merch store, we have lots of merch on our store right now. It is fathersongalaxy.myspreadshop.com.
All right.
And please visit our Spreaker page as well.
Okay. So look out for more character studies. Like we said, it's been a while since we've done them, but we want to bring them back. We enjoyed talking about different characters in the galaxy. So thank you.
The galaxy, far, far away.
Exactly.
So, but not too far away.
So thank you for joining us. Until next time, take care. And we will see you again.